So I need to vent and cry a little bit. So if you're gonna comment, "What are you sharing with the internet?" Go fuck off and go fuck yourself. I had an appointment yesterday for my baby. It's like the every 4 week checkup, and they did the Doppler. You heard her heartbeat. It was perfect. But it was the first time I saw the father since the very first appointment. And I have a lot of issues with him. But they're my issues. They're not the baby's issues, they're my issues. So I'm not gonna stop him from seeing his son. Unless he truly does something so terrible to him, I'm not gonna stop him from seeing his son. He did terrible things to me, not to my son. Not to our son. But anyway, this was the first time I've seen him since then. And we actually had to have a conversation, an adult conversation about, hey, what's gonna happen when he's born? And we had to go through like a birth plan and stuff like that. And we got it started. It's okay. It is where it is right now. But I finally said something I've always wanted to say since everything happened. But I kind of like backed out of it. So long story short, he's with someone else. He chose the other person and it's fine. I don't love him anymore. I don't love him anymore. I am, however, upset that I'm pregnant and alone. But like I said, he's got the other person. Alright, cool. So the whole time during the appointment, he's like playing and he jokes and he's like, well, this is your fault. You could have told me to pull out, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of got annoyed at that point, and I said, and like I'm going back and forth, it's your fault, it's my, like we're playing, we're having a decent conversation. And then I said, like it slipped out of being pent up. I was like, well, I told you not to come to me if you were fucking other people. And he was like, oh, and that's what he used to do when he got annoyed like that. That go silent shit. And so I just changed the subject really fast to something else. But it felt so good to say that, but I couldn't say anything else because we needed to finish having this conversation. This conversation was important. Like I said, we needed to figure out what's going to happen after he's born. How are we going to do this? And I told him I'm not comfortable with him taking my son, or our son, overnight until I meet his girl, because he lives with her now. As soon as we ended, he moved in with her. And that's fine. I want him to be happy. I want everyone to fucking be happy, but I want to be happy too. And he kind of like agreed, but you could tell there was some reluctance in there. And he's like, and I was like, I gotta make sure she's not a fucking murderer. I'm not saying she's a murderer, but like I gotta make sure. And he's like, well, during the appointment, the doctor had asked, I was telling her about some pains I was having, and she asked, does anything make it better? Like, does having sex ease the pain? And I was like, no. And his head did jump up when she mentioned sex. So he asked me, are there any murderers I need to worry about? I was honest. I said no. There could have been, but no. Because I don't want to be used for sex anymore. I actually want a fucking relationship. I want to feel like someone loves me the way I can love them back. I'm trying to stop crying. Because we actually did have a good conversation. I told him what I don't want when I go into labor, what I do want. And he goes and he's talking and we're having a really good conversation. But I still can't say everything I want to say. And I straight up told him, I said, I hate you. Like, I have my issues with you. I hate you, but I will never let our son feel that. I tell him Like I talk to my son every night, and I tell him all the good things and all the way his father's gonna protect him and do good by him. And he's like, well, I'll only say good things too. But the way he said it was like reluctant again. And I'm like, you can only say good things. I was good to you. And that's when he was like, yeah, you were. Like, agreeing, but in the sarcastic man tone where he's not saying what he wants to say. But I didn't push it because, like I said, we were having a good conversation and I didn't want it to go sour. So, I'm just way too emotional right now. So I'm making this all sound terrible, and it's not. I'm trying to breathe now. But like I said, we're on having the conversations of what I want during birth, because yes, he gets a say in how our son is raised, but he doesn't get a say in my body right now. Like, if I want a C-section or natural birth, I'm letting him know, like, what I want. Because if I can't make the decision for myself, he has to know, because I don't know if he plans on being in the room. I don't know, but they're going to come to him because it is his son. So, I want him to know where, like, my head lies. And I want his opinion on it as well. Like, different things. Like, apparently there's a thing where people don't cut the cord right away. They leave it on for, like, 5 minutes so they can absorb the nutrients from the placenta. I didn't know this. So I was talking, like, we were having this conversation that we need to have. And hopefully we can keep having these conversations every time we have these appointments, because he needs to, it's not him, like, we need to stay on the same page. I'm having a hard time breathing. But we did leave the conversation. He got to feel the baby kicking, right? Like, under here. I let him feel, like, when we started talking and it was nice and civil, the baby started kicking, so I was like, I grabbed his hand and I put it there, because I know he wanted to feel it. Pretty much when I told him he started kicking, he wanted to feel it. And I let him feel having his hand on me again, in the most innocent way. He was feeling his baby kick, but I wasn't ready for it mentally. I wasn't ready for it. I was like, I left his hand there because he wants to feel his son kick, and I'm not gonna stop him. But I wasn't mentally prepared. So I took my hand off of his, and he moved his hand in like a few minutes after the baby stopped. But towards the end of our conversation, he was kicking hard on my belly button, like hard as shit. So I'm like, sir, calm down. And he asked, he's like, can I feel? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And he puts his hand there, and you could feel it. The baby feels like he's kickboxing. Like, he feels like he's, like, doing this, or not kickboxing, boxing in general. And so he starts to, like, I guess not wiggle my stomach, but, like, move it. And I was like, what are you doing? So I just pulled back, because that was weird for me. And he meant no harm by it. He didn't, like, he just, dad thoughts, you know? And I just wasn't prepared for it. I gotta get used to this, I think. I gotta get used to all of it. But mentally, I'm getting better, I think. I still hate him, and I told him I'm gonna hate him for a while. I think I'll hate him. I think I need to hate him now, while I'm pregnant, so I don't hate him when he's born. Not hate him, hate the father. I don't hate him at all. It's one of my two worlds right now. Yeah, I'm talking about you. I love you. And whenever I say hate him throughout this whole video, I mean the father. But, like I said, I think I just need to hate him during the pregnancy, so that when little man is born, I don't hate him. I don't know. But I need to vent. And now I feel a little bit better. But not really. I need to cry. Thanks for watching my meltdown.